What's going on, YouTube? Silver and Cigars whipped out his dinar, so I'm whipping out my dong. What we have here is $4.15 million at the time of purchase. In, let me take a look here. June of 2019. It's $4.15 million of Vietnamese dong, baby. Take that, Silver and Cigars. I was asked by a subscriber, should I trade my metal, I believe it was silver, for currency, and if so, which one? Here's my answer to that question. Number one, I believe in being heavily diversified. I am metal heavy. A lot of people like to allocate 5, 10, 15%, usually 10 I find, in metal. For me, that's much higher. I want as much as I can get. Now, that being said, I do play paper markets for profits to turn into physical assets. That's just what I do. That's just, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. To answer that question to that subscriber, here's what I would say. Here's what I'm going to do. I bought this back when 45 was in office because of the tariffs he put on China. And it drove a fair amount of manufacturers to different countries, more so Vietnam than others, but many. So at that point, I thought it was fair to put. This cost me. Hold on. I don't know. I didn't write it down. $300, $400, $600. I don't know. I don't remember. It wasn't much. And I did that with the idea in mind that things might lead to a currency revaluation or an increase in the value of the Vietnamese dong because of a stronger economy. Stronger manufacturing economy. It hasn't done much. Last I looked, and I don't look very often, it's gone up a little bit. That may have changed. A huge part of me thinks I should go back to my credit union where I purchased it and turn it back into cold, hard American cash that I can either put in the market, put into metal, or do a mixture of that and possibly keep some in the safe. As I do believe in having some cash on hand, physical cash, in my own possession. Now, to answer the question, should I trade my metals in for currency, and if so, which one? For me, that is a hard no, a hard pass, with one caveat, potentially. At the end of the day, I am metal heavy. I am bullish on metal. I think it is a safe place to park a good percentage of my holdings. Gold, silver, God's money, real money, sound money, true money, intrinsic money. Now, the caveat could be U.S. currency. If you have a good base stack, or if I had a good base stack, what I would potentially consider doing, would be maybe offing some of my metal to turn it into cash, to invest, to make more cash, to buy more metal, or to buy more physical assets, perhaps real estate, land. It kind of depends on where you're at in your financial journey. What your risk tolerance is. Overall, though, I'm going to say the answer is probably no. At least for me. Again, I have pretty large base stack. To me, it's small and not enough. But that is because, as we've talked about in previous videos, the more I have, the less I feel I have, because my appetite, desires, and goals change. Which kind of sucks because it's rough. I constantly feel like I'm playing beat the clock, like I'm not getting ahead. But the reality is, the more I get ahead, I feel that way because the more I want to get ahead. It's kind of a snowball effect, which is great. It's good. But it's kind of a mental roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster at times. So for me, if I was going to off metal, the only currency I would consider doing that for at this point in time would be the US dollar. And I would try to make more US dollars out of doing that to acquire more physical assets. Gold, silver, potentially platinum, which I don't own any platinum. I don't own any palladium. I'm not against owning them. I just don't. They're a little bit harder, in my experience. And again, this is just what I've witnessed and what I've watched. A little bit harder to liquidate than gold or silver, but I think they have their place. So that's something I might consider. But to the person who asked that question, no. Overall, the question would be no. I would not do that. Again, that's just me. That's my non-financial advice. That's my opinion. That's my mindset. It is going to vary on one's own circumstance. But I want to have as much gold and as much silver as I can have in my stack. Because it's money. I mean, how do you put a goal on money? Some people have a number. I want this much in my stack. I want this percentage allocated, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, the answer is more. The answer is as much as possible. It's money. It's an asset class. It's tangible. So I'm going to do whatever I can do. I'm going to cut costs. I'm going to try to maximize profits, try to diversify myself across numerous markets to make more cash, more USD, to put into accounts that are going to pay me more and get more assets in the end. That's my non-financial advice. That's all I got. As far as that question goes, you got to make your own choice. You got to figure out what's right for you. And at the end of the day, a lot of it's speculation. You got to try to figure out where the markets are headed, where the economies are headed. And that's why I think diversification is very important. Because if you hedge your bet one way and you're wrong, but you hedged another bet another way, now you got a fallback plan. So if one thing doesn't do well for you and the other does, hopefully you're ahead of where you would have been had you done nothing. That's the name of the game. Sometimes we get lucky, sometimes we don't. For me, I'm sticking with the hard stuff, a little bit of cash, some investments, and I'm calling it good. But I'm not one that really likes to sell my metal. I'm a little bit more attached to it than I probably should be, which works against me in ways, because sometimes I put more money into metal than I should, because I could have made higher profits elsewhere to buy more metal in the end. Other times it works out real well because I continue to put money into it, and my savings account, my cushion grows quite significantly. Like the video, subscribe to the video, comment down below, tell me what you're doing, tell me about my dong, what you think. It is beautiful, I'm not gonna lie. It's simply just paper money, paper currency that can be devalued tomorrow by the stroke of a pen of a government. That's another thing I don't like. Governments have done this. With everything going on with the US dollar right now, and other countries trying to get off of it and trying to find an alternative and trying to, not make it the sole petrodollar anymore. It's currency. So keep that in mind. Gold and silver have never, and I don't believe will ever, go to zero. Every currency except the currencies currently used in the world today all have failed. All have gone to zero because there is no intrinsic value. So short term, sure, I might turn some metal into cash to make more profits to buy more metal. But it's really not what I do. I don't flip my metal that way unless I see a really good opportunity. Like the video, subscribe, comment, share your thoughts, tell me what you're doing. Silver Cigars, you finally got to see my dong. I know you've been wanting to see that, brother. I'm sorry I held out on you so long. I was waiting for you to take me to dinner and buy me a drink, but you didn't do that, so I whipped out the dong for you anyway. And whatever you do, keep in mind, I am not your financial advisor. Just a dude on YouTube sharing with you what I'm doing, what I'm thinking, where I'm at, my experience, my thoughts, and more importantly than that, keep stacking.